Anyone having business before this commission, come forth and you shall be heard. Please silence your cell phones and refrain from making any noises in the meeting room. May God bless the United States, the state of Tennessee, and DeKalb County.
Larry, can you lead us in prayer?
Let us pray. Almighty God, as we bow before you, Lord, we do give you thanks. The blessings that you share upon us each day, the love that you have for us, the mercy that you have in each of our lives, for each of us are sinners. But Lord, you still pour your mercy out into us because of our faith in Jesus Christ. But Lord, tonight as we weigh many difficult decisions, we pray that you will be with each commissioner, that you will give them the wisdom and the guidance that they need to vote the way that you would have them to vote. So Father, we'll give you the praise and we'll give you the glory. For it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Coyle, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lead us in the roll call.
Tom Chandler.
Here.
Tony Luna.
Here.
Larry Green.
Here.
Beth Pafford.
Here.
Myron Rhodey.
Here.
Greg Matthews.
Here.
Andy Pack.
Here.
Matthias Anderson. Glenn Merriman.
Here.
Susanna Cripps. Daniel Cripps.
Here.
Jeff Barnes.
Here.
Sabrina Farler.
Here.
Tony Colwell.
Here.
12 present.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is public comments. Is there any member of the public that would like to come up and speak to the commission? State your name and either your address or the district you reside in, and I'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
Steve Cantrell, 879 Johnson Ridge Road, here in DeKalb County. I'm here tonight in support of the resolution of the County Powers Act as written on and reflected on the WJLE website. I'm very concerned with some of the knee-jerk reactions reflected in the press and in conversations with my fellow citizens. Specifically concerned that the County Powers Act is the county telling you what you can and cannot do with your property. I can understand that reaction, but big picture, that's only a very small side of one coin. The other side of the coin, the protection the act will provide property owners so they can use their property as they wish. You only have to click on one of the links WJLE had on their website concerning data centers to see the potential impact. People who can't live in their homes anymore for health reasons caused by the centers, specifically noise that travels a long distance, and for those people next door, bright lights that keep them at night. But more importantly, they can't sell those homes because nobody wants to move into those areas. Not only because the homes have the sound and the lights, but it affects livestock as well. Imagine that, livestock industry. The other thing is not to mention, and I hope the Caney Fork Co-op is listening, the potential increase in local utilities to the taxpayers as more and more data centers enter into Tennessee. And Tennessee right now has more of Meta's data centers. A lot of them are for artificial intelligence. Without the proposed resolution, you are basically telling current and future impacted property owners that you don't care about their property rights. This is what is really at stake here. Protecting property owners' investment in their property and their ability to use their property in the future. Data centers reflect but one example, but it's an example that is already here and under construction, as I mentioned at the last meeting, less than 3 miles from here. A fact that the majority of you, if not all of you, were unaware of. And of course, some of my friends are here tonight because the quarry slipped in too. with a big bang, so to speak, that shuttered the peace and quiet of that neighborhood and actually threw rocks onto the interstate. Fact. Companies are looking at exploiting DeKalb County because there are no zoning restrictions in place. Fact. Companies are looking at exploiting DeKalb County because there are no zoning restrictions in place. We need your proactive leadership to take action now to protect this treasure we call home and to protect property values. The proposed resolution of the County Powers Act is a critical step and the right answer at this time. Thank you.
Is there any other member of the public? All right, just state your name and your address and or the district you reside in, and I'll give you 3 minutes.
Y'all know who I am. Chris Trammell, Liberty. Y'all know where I stand. We need the Powers Act. This is not something that's going to tell people how high to cut their grass or if they can park their tractor in their yard. Quite frankly, if some kind of resolution like that comes up, I'll probably fight that. But we got to have protection against encroachment from these big industries that are coming in, not providing any benefit to the community. They're coming in and taking our resources and making the neighbors' lives miserable. We just need protection, and I hope y'all pass this Powers Act.
State your name and either your address or the district you reside in, and I'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
I'm Max Knudsen. I'm out on bond. Thank you. It's inappropriate for you to ask for our address. Okay, this is a public meeting. You shouldn't ask.
You can also say the district you reside in.
I'm in District 2, the Haunted Hollers of Dowelltown. I want to say, first off, I hope all of you have gone out and taken a drive and seen the beautiful autumn colors. Isn't this just the most spectacular place that we live in? The other morning I was driving to get some hay. I buy my hay locally, I eat locally, I shop locally. Every bit of money I make gets spent locally. And it was just amazing, the beautiful sights, until you pop over the holler and you see that mine functioning over there in Liberty, pretty much just destroying that vantage point as you come. So I want to thank all of you that are going to vote affirmatively for the Powers Act tonight. I really want to say that from the bottom of my heart, that I'll thank you each time I pop out of my holler, that I don't see that same thing less than 1,200 feet away from my home. I also want to say that the proposed bail bond jail system is like Victor Hugo's popular book, Les Miserables, the miserable ones. It's capitalizing on the disenfranchised and the impoverished people. As I sat in that courtroom and listened to case after case come forward, at least half a dozen people are being jailed right now because they're not paying their child support. And I'm not exactly sure how you pay child support from inside jail. I'm not sure how you do that. I'd rather see my tax money spent on the vocational system, or maybe a pickleball arena, bringing folks from all over the world to compete right here, going to our restaurants, using our systems and services, getting an oil change locally here, where otherwise we're not sustaining, but we're bringing money from outside to this beautiful recreational place. And we could build BMX trails, and we could build bike trails, and we could build all sorts of things that actually benefit the taxpayers, because I got my taxes this week in the mail, and they're up 40%. And so far, other than not hearing a time clock click outside my jail cell, I can't figure out how it would benefit me, the average taxpayer. So you think about that while you're setting up your tax shelter for our future, that the bail bond program is capitalizing on misery. It is not bringing prosperity to us. I urge you to vote against it.
State your name and either your address or the district you reside in. I'll give you 3 minutes.
Michael Antoniak, 2nd District, Snows Hill. 3 months ago, rock quarries and crypto mining weren't on any of our horizons. Since then, we've discovered efforts by such companies based elsewhere to set up in DeKalb County unannounced before we even realize they're here. Why? They plan to do here what they can't get away with elsewhere. Without any oversight or regulatory powers, we've left our doors wide open to outside exploitation, and no corner of DeKalb County beyond city limits is safely secure. At our houses and businesses, on our farms, if we awaken to someone trying to break in and steal from us, our first instinct is to reach for whatever is at hand and drive them away. We have the right and responsibility to protect and defend what is ours. For if not us, who? In a little while, Commissioners, you'll be asked to vote on the County Powers Act. It is, at this juncture, the best defensive tool available to protect and preserve the neighborhoods, quality of life, and landscape of our collective home, DeKalb County. I ask any of you leaning against the County Powers Act to thoughtfully reconsider your position in the short time remaining. To those intent on voting these carefully crafted resolutions down, in the same breath, please put forth your better idea. Let's move forward and ensure only residents and our elected officials can guide and shape DeKalb County's future. If not now, when? And if not the County Powers Act, how? Thank you.
State your name and either your address or the district you reside in. I'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
Lucas Antoniak, 2nd District, Snows Hill. I was proudly born in my parents' log cabin on Snows Hill, and I'm a lifelong resident of the county and the Snows Hill area. I've traveled across America many times, but I've chosen to live here with my wife and raise our daughter here because I love this county and its people. As we've seen over the last few months, all walks of life have united against these outside attacks happening to our county. The way I see it, voting against the County Powers Act would be pro-carpetbagger and an admission of unwillingness of you elected officials to protect DeKalb County and listen to its citizens. You're basically telling the outside world that you're ready and willing to sell out DeKalb County and its residents for exploitation by moneyed interests who don't care about us at all. A vote for the County Powers Act is a vote for the people of DeKalb County. It will protect us and protect the air, the water, and land for generations to come. Listen to our voices of the county, and please vote for the County Powers Act and tell these carpetbaggers that they're not welcome. Thank you.
State your name and either the district you reside in or your address, and we'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Pitt, and I reside in District 2. I'm here to ask you to pass a resolution of County Powers Act 2024-10-114 and -115 to keep the quarries, rock crushers, gravel pits, cryptocurrency mining, landfills, adult entertainment, and methadone clinics from operating 5,000 feet from our homes. This resolution is very specific. There should be no concern over hypothetical resolutions that are not on the table. I've yet met a citizen of DeKalb County that would like any of these types of businesses operating right next to their home. WJLE put out a poll to the public asking if the County Power Act should be adopted to include these distance restrictions for new quarries, rock crushers, landfills, data processing centers, adult entertainment, and methadone clinics. As of 9 a.m. this morning, 1,484 people voted, and a supermajority of 83% support the passage of this resolution. I would like to thank WJLE for being a conduit, allowing the citizens of DeKalb County to have their voices heard on this matter. Commissioners, this should be an easy vote for you. Can any one of you sit here and say that you would like any of these next to your home, or your mother's home, or your child's home, or your grandchild's home, any one of you. If not, I urge you to vote to pass this. Please do the right thing to protect the people of DeKalb County who you are duly elected to serve, and thank you for your service.
State your name and either your district or address, and then we have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Barbara Boutte, and I live in District 4. 3 things. We are quickly approaching November 5th, which will decide the fate of the $65 million bond proposal. Whether it's defeated or not, I hope the Commission is ready to move forward or work on a Plan B. I strongly suggest you work with your financial advisor to review the Security and Exchange Commission's Rule 15C-212 and ensure full compliance with the rule prior to pursuing any debt issuance. Second, regarding taxes, I'd like to remind the Commission of upcoming property reassessments. Property values have increased substantially since COVID, and owners will likely see large property tax increases over the 2023 to 25 period. Ensure the future needs of our county are met, but please budget wisely. Personally, I'm not interested in saving pennies on law enforcement or emergency services. If I have a break-in, my house is on fire, or I need an ambulance, I don't care how much it costs. I need timely response by working vehicles and trained personnel. Lastly, the lack of planning or fear of change by past commissions has undeniably caused current and future harm to the residents of our county. By now, you are all familiar with the current and proposed rock quarries, data center, and potentially a dump. Over time, the quarries alone that will be able to continue will cost residents near those quarries thousands in foundation and water supply disruption, which is not covered by homeowners insurance. Additionally, many residents will develop health issues, likely lung-related from the dust in the air. Do you remember the Canadian wildfires in 2023? That smoke traveled thousands of miles and created a haze right here in Middle Tennessee. What about the impact on our wildlife, nature, or the lake? As a public servant, as a public servant, there are times personal desires must be cast aside for the good of the people. Change is upon us, and you must act now. Similar acts have been adopted by neighboring counties and across the U.S. because it works. It is unfortunate this commission has the unenviable task of dealing with these crises. However, you have the opportunity to institute change and arm our county and future commissioners with the foundation they will need to govern our beautiful county and its citizens. Please vote yes to the County Powers Act and resolutions. Thank you.
And do we have any other member from the public that would like to speak? All right. Give your name and either the district you reside in or your address, and we'll give you 3 minutes.
It's Doug Waller, District 2, Snows Hill, right across from the proposed quarry. I'm here to speak on behalf of everybody else here that supported the County Powers Act resolution you're going to vote on tonight. As you probably know from my past comments, I'm greatly in favor of controlling business interests that don't have the county's best interests at hand. These companies are coming into DeKalb County solely because there's no regulations. We all know this. We've all heard it. And I would hope tonight that 10 votes come out to pass these regulations. You know, if you choose not to vote in support of these regulations tonight, I'd like to hear publicly comments as to why you're not going to support controlling the outside business development, and what you plan to do to protect the citizens of this county from quarries, landfills, and other things that want to come in. This is not about controlling people's personal property, as other people have stated, if you've read the resolutions. I mean, how tall your grass is, I've heard this in past meetings. Can I have animals on my property? Can I have cars on my property? That's not what's at stake here. What's at stake here is the quality of life in this county. You know, the slippery slope. The slippery slope is already here. And if we don't act against this slippery slope, this county is just going to continue to be a wide open bastion for people to come in, open businesses, and do whatever they want. So I would hope, like other people have said tonight, we're going to pass this resolution and protect the citizens of this county. Grundy County has set the path for counties like ours. I mean, they're a smaller county from what I understand. They've fought this thing to the Supreme Court of Tennessee, as probably all of you know, and have done a lot of the footwork and legwork to help counties like ours pass something. So I would hope we would take advantage of the opportunity they presented to us by giving us all the information you're going to vote on tonight. So I just would hope that we're going to see 10 votes tonight on this resolution.
Any other member of the public that would like to speak before we move on? State your name and either your address for the district you reside in. I'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, my name is Krista Eichman. I live on Vandergrift Road in District 2. Also in support of the County Powers Act. And I've been thinking, you know, I am also curious, like Doug, like if you vote against it, I'm really curious what your reason would be, because you know, this idea that there's going to be some law passed that nobody likes seems very unrealistic, because it would have to get 10 votes to pass. And I don't think anyone on this commission is going to propose, you know, a really wonky restriction that nobody in the county wants. So I'm really unclear what people are afraid of or what they oppose about this, because, again, it would take 10 votes to pass something crazy, and I don't think you're going to get that. All we have here is let's have the County Powers Act, which, as someone pointed out at a previous meeting, anytime in the future that could pass, and then let's restrict these 5 types of businesses that nobody wants to live next to. So, you know, again, I agree with Doug. I'd love to hear, if you oppose it, what is your actual rationale for that? Because I don't see this getting out of hand. I don't see this commission passing things that nobody wants that make no sense. You guys aren't going to do that. Like, you're just not going to. So I don't understand what the fear or the resistance is. And if you do vote no, I would love to hear what your rationale is. I think everyone here would deserve to hear that, because we're all really concerned about our homes, our property values. You know, that's all I have in terms of worth. Like, if my property value is destroyed by a data center, that kind of messes me up for a long time. So it's a really serious thing for everyone who lives in the county, and I really hope you guys will consider, don't be afraid of some hypothetical that's not realistic. It's not going to happen. You guys are not going to pass, right? Greg, like, you're not going to pass something that's crazy. You're just not going to. So I really hope y'all can find it in your hearts to vote yes on this. We really need you. Thank you.
State your name and either your address or the district you reside in. I'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
All right, thank you. V.E. Garner, District 2, Driver Road, just across from the proposed SRM quarry. I just want to come and say that I want y'all to vote in support of the County Powers Act, as my neighbors have already stated the reasons why. But just a little anecdotal story. I have been neighbors with Doug Walter and the Antoniaks, and with goats have been kind of a nuisance neighbor. But this protection of the lands that we've all chosen to live on has brought us all together. So despite the goats frequently, getting on to the Antoniak's land and onto Doug's land, our property value hasn't decreased because of that. And as a person who would probably, according to some people, be impacted by, being a nuisance, I don't think that I have to worry about that with my neighbors. We are in support of the larger picture of protecting the environment that we live in and the resources that we have been provided with and gifted with in this beautiful country. And so, yeah, just the anecdotal story that I don't believe that my neighbors are gonna use the County Powers Act against me and the goats getting on their land and pooping on, porches. I believe that it will be, as my neighbors have stated, for the protection of the lands that we live in and love in. Thank you.
Any more public comments? All right. I don't see any more, so we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda.
Approve the agenda.
Myron Rhodey made a motion,
Larry Green.
and Larry Green seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Minutes from our prior meeting. You have your minutes from the September 23rd meeting. You'd like to make a motion? Motion by Larry Green to
Second.
approve and seconded by Myron. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Our financial reports, I'm going to go ahead and ask our trustee Sean Driver to come up and speak on trustees report.
Does everybody have your report in front of you for the trustee? For those of you that don't know me, I am Sean Driver, DeKalb County trustee. I am the collecting agent or collecting fiscal agent for the DeKalb County trustee's office. But to the commission and county mayor, our first page here is our assets and liabilities. And we are in balance as of today, $49,128,768.01. That's again with our assets and liabilities. Haven't seen you guys since about April with the year end and now into our first quarter. So it's good to see all of you tonight. And we'll flip to our second page. This page again breaks down what has happened since the 1st of July through today with all of our funds, as well as our ending balances and beginning balances. Starting with the 45 million mark at July 1, $45,027,836.02. And again, we're up to the 49 million at this point. Third page is just another reference from that second page. And we'll go ahead and flip to the fourth page. So as our tax roll came to us around the 1st of September, it looked like our responsibility in the trustee's office was $191,886. So we accept that, and we are collecting as we speak, Monday through Friday. That's 2024 taxes, property taxes, I should say. And those of you that have always asked where we're at on the prior year taxes, for 2023 at this time, we are 97.47% collected. And that was a little under $13 million collection when we accepted those taxes. Any of the 2023 taxes that are not collected will be turned over to our Chancery Court, Ms. Deborah Malone in the Clerk Master's office, April 1st of 2025. And usually when we do that, we are coming around the 99% mark, which is what we're responsible for in the trustee's office and very proud of. Is there any questions at this point, Mr. Mayor? I'll address to you.
Any questions for John? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sabrina Farrow make the motion to acknowledge John Driver's report.
Second.
Seconded by Myron Rhodes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Local option sales tax report. Anybody like to make a motion to approve and acknowledge? Daniel Cripps, had a motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Greg Matthews. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Board of Education's financial statement for this quarter. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve this statement?
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Myron,
I'll second.
seconded by Tony Luna. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Also have the financial statement for County General and all of our other county funds. Under our county budget, would anybody like to make a motion to approve this statement?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Beth,
I'll second.
seconded by Greg Matthews. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. DeKalb County Highway Department financial statement. Anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Glenn Merriman,
Second.
seconded by Myron Rhodey. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We have Board of Education budget amendments. Should be our next line item on the agenda here. Anybody like to make a motion to approve all of the presented Board of Education budget amendments?
I'll make a motion. I'll second that.
Motion by Greg Matthews and seconded by Myron Rhodey. Any discussion?
Could we be a little, I guess, more descriptive to the public on some of these budget amendments?
Yes. What would you like me to describe?
Just kind of tell them what it is and kind of where it's going, just an overview of it.
I can.
I know we go through them in our workshop, but I've had several to approach me and would like for them to be kind of described at this time also.
Okay. So the budget amendments for the Board of Education will be the ISM budget amendment. This is a debit of $528,416.09 from multiple line items and credited to multiple line items in that same amount. The second budget amendment for the Board of Education is the Spark budget amendment. This is a debit from other state grants in the amount of $13,447.30 and credited to other supplies and materials in that same amount. Third budget amendment is the state special education preschool grant. It's a debit from their revenue of $83,903.03, and it's credited to, looks like a lot of salary line items there that are probably grant funded. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Let me gather my Fund 101s here. So the next one's going to be Fund 101.
I'll make a motion, we link all these together and vote on them all as one to approve them.
Would you like for me to go through them?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does everybody have 9? 101? As you are going through that, I'll go ahead and be going through the amendments. First one I got here is the medical examiner budget amendment. This is in the amount of $10,000 from medical personnel and crediting that to contracted services in the same $10,000 amount. This is where we did not use Caleb Cantrell, so the budget committee budgeted that $30-something thousand for his salary to be the medical director and the medical examiner. So all we're doing is moving that money back out and placing it back to the way it was before. This is the same amount that Denise got last time when she was the medical examiner, so we're just putting that $10,000 back into that contract line. So taking it out of payroll and putting it into a contract. And the second 101 budget amendment is in the amount of $5,000 out of medical personnel and $5,000 into contracted services of the ambulance service. This again is the same thing I've just spoke of in the last budget amendment, where we had it all combined in that $30,000 salary. We're moving all that money out of the salary line items and placing them back into contract lines like we had done before. So this is for the medical director's pay, $5,000. He will get that $5,000 a year for those services. The next budget amendment is $13,279 from fund balance. This is going to a part-time security officer that was recommended from the Public Works Committee and also budgeted by the Budget Committee. And that same $13,279 is broken up into his part-time pay. That's $12,240 for part-time. $760 of it is Social Security, unemployment's $100, and Medicare is $179. The next one is the community development, $10,040.92. This is credited to contracted services. This is the grant money for the 2 waterline projects. The amount for Dwight and DeKalb is $5,648.92, and the amount of Baxter is $4,392. This is for the TDEC ARP grant. The next budget amendment is sale of equipment, $443.40, going to corrections, other supplies in the same amount. This is the proceeds from the sale. And it also has the check on the back. The next one is another sale of equipment, $12,029.95, going to motor vehicles for the sheriffs for the proceeds of the sale. The next budget amendment is for the county clerk. It's $799.99 going to data processing. This is to replace the current safe that was there in 2014 when Mr. Poss took the position. The current safe was too small and easy to carry off and not able to secure. They upgraded to a safe that is more secured to the wall and floor, offering more of a deterrence should someone breach the vault area. The safe secures titles, money, and many other things. There's also a receipt attached. The next budget amendment is for the fire department in the amount of $3,778.30, coming from sale of equipment, going to fire prevention and control equipment in the same amount. This is going to go toward purchasing water supply equipment for the county fleet, hoses and valves. And that's it for 101.
Make a motion to approve all of them.
Motion by Larry Green to approve, seconded by Sabrina Farler. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. We did have two from Fund 171, which is our capital projects fund. It's $30,000 coming from fund balance. This is going toward building improvements. This is for renovations of the courthouse for purpose of security. This is where the Public Works Committee recommended that there'd be doors to the courthouse be changed to more securable doors and a one-way entrance, and then signage on the windows to help the public know where that one entrance is. The next budget amendment is $425,000 out of fund balance going to public safety motor vehicles in the same amount. This is for the purchase of a new fire truck. I know their reserve truck that the fire department has broke down and they can't find parts for it where it's so old, so they were looking at getting a new fire truck into the fleet and replacing the old one.
Where is it going?
A new fire truck? I'm not sure. I guess it will fall suit, whichever station. I'm assuming. I don't want to speak for Donnie Green. I don't know if he's here or not, but I assume that. Oh, he's here. Do you want to speak on that, or do you want him to speak on it, or?
I just wondered where it was going.
I'm assuming. Just correct me if I'm wrong. That it would just go to the next station that is due for the newest engine. Yep, and then the oldest engine would take the place of the reserve engine. Is that correct? Okay. Any more questions on the fire truck? Anybody like to make a motion to approve Fund 171's budget amendments?
I'll
Motion by
second.
Tony Colwell and seconded by Andy Pack. Is there any discussion? Yes. Is that your motion, Colwell? Yes. To approve 171? Yes. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, motion passes. Our last budget amendment is 116. This is our solid waste fund. Debiting from insurance recovery in the amount of $4,065.26 and crediting to maintenance and repairs of the same amount. This is insurance recovery money for repairs to a damaged compactor. And you got your bill review on the next page. Anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I will. I'll make a motion. We approve that.
Okay. Motion to approve Fund 116 by Myron.
Second that.
Seconded by, somebody stick a hand up.
No, it don't matter. I did,
Greg
or
Matthews.
Somebody else did too.
So, Greg Matthews. Yep. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, motion passes.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. Our next item on the agenda is committee reports. We heard from the Health, Education, and Public Welfare Committee in our workshop. Would anybody like to make a motion to acknowledge their minutes?
Make a motion to acknowledge the report.
Motion by Larry Green,
Second.
seconded by Myron Rhodey. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Economic Development Committee. Anybody like to make a motion to acknowledge their minutes? Motion by Tony Luna or Colwell? Who was it? Colwell? Seconded by, okay, Tony Luna seconded. Motion by Colwell, second by Luna. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Our Budget Committee minutes. Anybody like to make a motion to acknowledge the Budget Committee minutes?
I'll make a motion to acknowledge that.
Motion by Andy Pack, seconded by Greg Matthews. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. New business. Resolution of the County Powers Act. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the County Powers Act?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second
Motion
that.
by Larry Green and seconded by Myron Rhodey. Is there any discussion? You have the floor.
I think it's well known that I have been opposed to the County Powers Act. I have received a number of calls, text messages, people stopping by the farm to talk to me about this, and I think it's about 50-50. 50% in favor of it, about 50% against. So I'm going to choose to speak for the ones that oppose this. And they lie in these documents. The first one is the document, the resolution that was presented to this county commission for consideration last August in response to some residents coming forward because somebody in their neighborhood had excessive garbage in the yard. But we got a proposed resolution not just about garbage, but about grass, shrubbery, vehicles like tractors, motorcycles, etc. in the yard. It also created an enforcement officer and an enforcement board. Thankfully, we chose not to consider that. The second document is this one. Presented to this commission, it's the zoning resolution from Cannon County. Tony Lucas suggested that we pass this document and then tweak it later. This document is 44 pages long and has 4 pages just to tell Glenn Merriman how many parking spaces he'd have to have if he wants to start a new business. There's no amount of tweaking that would make that reasonable for the county, and yet it was presented here as a possibility. This document is the current resolution in front of this commission. Last month, we discussed a resolution to prevent quarries, landfills, and cryptocurrency mining. But when we got to the HEW committee, we got this document. It has, in addition to those, block crushers, gravel pits, adult entertainment, and methadone clinics. In addition, at the meeting, someone proposed adding racetracks. Greg Matthews would like to add halfway houses. Down in Liberty, they don't want radio towers. On Snow Hill, they didn't want that cell phone tower that's sitting there. Lord knows none of us wants an incarceration center sitting in our backyard. But, you tell me, Tom, we're not going to do all that stuff. We're going to be reasonable. But this is the same county commission that last month told any service provider that had been contracted to provide service for this county that if they were not delivering that service in a reasonable fashion, and the mayor tried to do anything about it, they could just tell him to cram something up his ass and carry on. And that is what happened. So now you ask me to be reasonable. Okay, I can be reasonable. I propose that you put this County Powers Act on a referendum for the entire county and let everybody vote on whether or not they would like to see this. And if you say, well, that's going to cost money to have another referendum, don't worry, you're going to have another referendum anyway. Because if you kill this bond issue that's coming up next week, the need for the jail or incarceration center or justice center or whatever you call it isn't going away. You still going to have it. So one way, you will have to pay for it. But there's even a more simple thing to do. And that's to just pass a resolution, a zoning resolution, that says that any property in DeKalb County, in the unincorporated parts of DeKalb County, that isn't currently commercial or industrial is by definition residential or agricultural, and any request to change that designation for a piece of property must be approved by the planning committee. Now, why did I say the planning committee? Because the planning committee is not made up of this commission. It's got a more even distribution of members, and they're less likely to be politically motivated. So I oppose the County Powers Act. I am not going to vote for the County Powers Act, and there are my reasons why and my alternatives for what could be done.
All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, so go off what Tom said. Y'all got my email about why can't we add halfway houses to this. Reason being is because what he just said, it went from rock quarries and landfill to now we're adding methadone clinics and all these other things that's not even been discussed for hearsays. So somebody said if we vote no, they'd like to know our reasons. Well, my reason is I'm for the 4th District. It's who elected me, it's who I represent. And other than Miss Barbara, only one couple, the Hintz, has reached out to me in favor for this. So 3 people out of the 4th District has told me they're in favor for this. So there's my reasoning when time comes that I will vote no for this.
Mr. Mayor, this was the exact resolution with a few tweakings that we presented to Health Education and Public Welfare.
That's correct.
We don't deny that. Well, technically, they're, as you just pointed out, was tweaking. They are not the same document. This is not the same document being presented here that was presented in HEW, and it is more than we discussed last month that would be sent to the HEW committee. There's no denying that.
The only thing that was changed was a couple of suggestions that Mr. Poss made and Mr. Conger made. And Hilton, the thing that he had us do was to legalize it more, to where it would stand up for us.
Any more discussion before we take a vote? Clerk, can you call the roll? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was
Go
going
ahead.
to say, and this first resolution is just to give the authority to pass a County Powers Act. And the whole thing is forward-facing. Once the rock quarry has come, as has happened, you cannot stop it. And as Mr. Tommy has said from the Planning Commission and others, you know, that when people start getting worried and want to put in zoning or county powers, it's too late.
I don't think your mic's on, is it?
It's too late. So this is a proactive act.
Any more discussion? Clerk, can you call the roll?
Myron Rhodey. Yes, I am in favor.
Beth Pafford,
Yes.
Larry Green,
Yes.
Tony Luna,
Yes.
Andy Pack,
Yes.
Glenn Merriman,
Yes.
Daniel Cripps,
Yes.
Jeff Barnes,
Yes.
Tony Colwell,
Yes.
Sabrina Farler,
Yes.
Tom Chandler, and Greg Matthews.
No.
So 10 yes.
All right. motion passes. All right, next resolution is regulating quarries, rock crushers, gravel pits, crypto mining, landfills, adult entertainment, and methadone clinics.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we'll pass this, but we've got to make one editorial change on
Okay.
section 8. Actually, I thank Beth for catching this. Measurements should be taken from the nearest recorded property line of the sexually oriented businesses. Just strike out sexually oriented business and put operations listed above.
Okay.
And with
Everybody
that
under,
change, I'll make a motion, we approve it.
did everybody understand the motion? He's just cleaning it up a little bit. You
Just
care
clean
to-
it up, and
Yeah.
what it does, you could actually interpret this as the only thing we're doing this measurement thing on is sexually oriented businesses, and we want to include all these above it, the landfill, the adult entertainment, crypto mine, all that.
Read the sentence as it would appear on, would you read the sentence as it would appear on this if it was corrected?
Measurements shall be taken from the nearest recorded property line of the operations listed above to the nearest property line or boundary of the foregoing.
Thank you, sir.
Taking the word business out and putting operations, that way it catches more. That way if they say, well, I don't have a business, I just have, you know, they're trying to catch that. Does everybody understand?
So my
You-
motion is to approve it with that, with that one change.
Would anybody like to second Larry's motion?
Second.
Seconded by Colwell. Any discussion? Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Myron Rhodey,
Yes,
Beth Pafford,
Yes.
Larry Green,
Yes.
Tony Luna,
Yes.
Andy Pack,
Yes.
Glenn Merriman,
Yes.
Daniel Cripps,
Yes.
Jeff Barnes,
Yes.
Sabrina Farler,
Yes.
Tony Colwell,
Yes.
Greg Matthews,
Yes.
Tom Chandler. 11 yes.
All right, motion passes. Resolution implementing Jackson's Law. This is another protection counties can have to protect them from landfills. By passing Jackson's Law, the commission will have a 2/3 majority vote on whether a landfill can be in their county or not. But this is only for the counties that have passed Jackson's Law.
Make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Larry Green, seconded by Myron Rhodey. Any discussion?
So, since I wasn't at the workshop Thursday for other reasons, if this right here is here, then what's the point of the,
This is another layer of protection.
I mean,
It's just a way of notifying. This goes to the Secretary of State and to TDEC. That way TDEC and the Secretary of State already know that we have Jackson's Law in place. It's just another level of protection.
I understand, I know what it is, I was just kinda wondering if this will work, why are we even talking about the other?
Well,
A year ago, this place was filled up with people
yeah.
not wanting.
Well, the other resolution had a lot more than just landfills.
Yeah, I know.
We included landfills in there, but it had a lot of other language also. Any other discussion? I got a motion by
Larry.
Larry and
Second by Myron.
second by Myron. Call the roll.
Myron Rowley.
Yes.
Beth Baffert.
Yes.
Larry Green.
Yes.
Tony Luna.
Yes.
Greg Matthews.
Yes.
Andy Pack.
Yes.
Glenn Merriman.
Yes.
Daniel Cripps.
Yes.
Jeff Barnes.
Yes.
Sabrina Farler.
Yes.
Tony Colwell.
Yes.
Tom Chandler.
How many did we get?
11.
All right, motion passes with 11 votes. Memorial resolution for EMS Director Hoyt Hill. If you have not known already, our EMS Director Hoyt Hill had passed away here recently. So we wanted to make a resolution for him in his memory. The resolution reads, whereas the DeKalb County Legislative Body remembers and honors the life of DeKalb EMS Director Hoyt Hill. Whereas Mr. Hoyt Hill was remembered for serving his community with honor, integrity, professionalism, and respect without question, and displaying the character of a selfless servant of his community. Whereas Mr. Hill, an EMT paramedic, served as interim EMS director for 2.5 years before becoming director in 2015. Prior to being named interim, Mr. Hill was the assistant EMS director for 7 years. Whereas in addition to his EMS duties, Mr. Hill was also a veteran volunteer firefighter for the Smithfield Fire Department, having served there for almost 40 years, and at the time of his death was deputy chief. Whereas Mr. Hill was an 8-time winner of the Smithfield Fire Department's Robert Eller Highest Attendance Award, given in response to the most incidents of anyone during the year. Whereas Mr. Hoyt Hill sacrificed much of his time while with us, serving the community that he loved and genuinely cared for his staff, family, and friends. Therefore, let it be resolved that this DeKalb County Commission honors the memory of Mr. Hoyt Hill, reflecting fondly upon his impeccable character and his stalwart commitment to living the examined life with courage and conviction.
I make a motion, we accept this and.
Second.
Motion by Myron and seconded by Andy Pack. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Matt, did you have his family to stand?
That's what I was about to go into. I was waiting for the applause. So the family is here. We got his son Quentin Hill, his wife Maria, and Miss Margaret. If you and also see, I think I see the other one.
See Tia there.
Yep. Just, if y'all don't care, stand. If the children wouldn't care to come up here, I have this in a plaque for them. The next item on the agenda is the appointment of our department heads. This is something I normally do in September, but got left out. So we're picking it back up here this month. Charlie Parker, I'd like to appoint him as our EMA director. Hilton Conger, our county attorney. I'd like to appoint a new EMS director, Trent Phillips. are DeKalb County Fire Chief Donnie Green and Public Works Director Brian Reed.
Second.
Tom Chandler made a motion to accept and Andy Pack seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Our EMS write-off policy. So this is similar to the one we already had. We just made an update to it. Anybody like to make a
Motion approved.
motion by Daniel Cripps?
Second.
Seconded by Tony Colwell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We do have some solid waste contracts, our long-term dumpster rental and transfer station account contracts. Tom Chandler made a motion to approve the contracts
Second.
presented, and
Second.
Myron seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Resolution recognizing 911 telecommunicators. Yep, so this, do want to speak a little bit on this resolution. A lot of times our 911 telecommunicators are overlooked as first responders. That we're speaking on dispatch, fire, EMS, police, rescue squad. They do get a lot of recognition, but a lot of times people don't think about dispatch. So there's been some counties, Sevier County recently passed a resolution recognizing their dispatch workers, and we thought that that was important also, and to recognize them as the first responders. So Tom Chandler made a motion.
I'll
and
second.
Seconded by Sabrina Farler. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Conversation of the school bond for a pre-K through second grade elementary school. So the school board and county commission had a joint meeting and reviewed a new pre-K through second grade elementary school that the school board had presented, and it looked like it went over very well. So they went to speak with the budget committee about recommending a bond. The school price went from 46 million to 53, a little over 53 million. So the budget committee has recommended that we do a bond resolution not to exceed $55 million, contingent that all the other municipalities participate in the local option sales tax agreement by January 1st, 2025. So in speaking on that, we do hope and that the public goes out and talks to your alderman. If you live in the towns of Alexandria, Dowtown, Liberty, Smithville. So talk to your aldermans, talk to your city mayors. If you are wanting this Smithville Elementary School, the budget committee does believe, with advice from our financial advisor, that we could fund the elementary school that was presented without raising property taxes by using sales tax only if the other municipalities participate in the sales tax agreement that we already have with them. So the budget committee asked for the full commission to approve that recommendation. Again, $55 million, not to exceed bond resolution by January 1st of 2025. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Greg Matthews and Myron, seconded. Is there any discussion? Again, I stress to the public, if we can hear from those municipalities, which I've heard back from Smithville and Dowtown so far. I haven't heard anything from Liberty or Alexandria so far. But we hope that they were all given a sales tax agreement form to fill out and to pass through their boards. So just want to stress, in order to make this work, everybody has to work together.
Absolutely. So if this motion did pass, it
Mhm.
would, and we did not hear back from the other four municipalities, that it would dissolve.
That's correct.
January 1st.
Right.
2025.
This is passing it contingent that everybody participates by January 1, 2025.
Yes.
If we don't hear back by them on January 1st.
Right. If we don't have signed agreements from all those municipalities, and the Board of Education also has to sign, yep, to participate in it. If we don't get something back in a written agreement from all those parties that participate, then it dissolves. Yep. Yeah, that's a good question. Yep.
This is just to endorse
Right.
what the school board has,
The support.
yeah, the motion in support of it, but it's not the bond resolution.
Right. Well, we don't have a bond resolution written.
The
Right.
motion to support moving forward to get the agreement with them.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So if this passes, we'll go ahead and be working on the bond resolution and how we want to lay that out and everything.
So we wouldn't have wanted our county attorney to work on something until we had.
That's right.
Okay, I'm
Yep.
just trying to clear it up. I've had
Yeah.
several questions.
Well, that's a good
in the
question, so,
community,
yep.
About this, and absolutely support it, but,
Yeah.
wanted to know where we stand as a community
Yeah.
and what our obligations as a commission
Right.
are for that.
Those are good questions. Any more discussion or questions on?
Did January 1st seem appropriate for the ones that you've spoken to? Do you feel like that they would be?
I haven't had a whole lot of, I guess, comments on the date, really. But Smithville and Liberty said that they would both put it on the agenda to talk to their boards. All right, Sabrina had a motion. Or Greg had a motion. And
Myron.
Greg Myron.
Greg Myron.
Yeah, I was talking to you, so I gotta get that somewhere. Yep. All right, any more discussion before we vote? All right, Jimmy, you care to roll call?
Andy
for us?
Pack.
Yes.
Glenn Merriman.
Yes.
Daniel Cripps.
Yes.
Jeff Barnes.
Yes.
Sabrina Farler. Tony Colwell.
Yes.
Greg Matthews.
Yes.
Myron Rhodey.
Yes.
Beth Pafford.
Yes.
Larry Green.
Yes.
Tony Luna.
Yes.
Tom Chandler. 12 yes.
All right, motion passes. All right. I know there's some other business that people want to get to. So whoever wants to start first.
Y'all go first. So in our Economic Development Committee, we floated the idea of creating a Parks and Recreation Committee. We did talk to Suzanne Williams, and if we do create this committee, there are lots of grants that we can apply for and probably get, so we could possibly build a new ball field or even a new ball complex for the kids. This would be a volunteer committee. Tony Colwell has agreed to serve on it. I've also talked to Josh Miller at the City of Smithville. He says that him or one of the aldermen he thought would also serve on it. And we would like to get 5 more from the community. And Tony's already started talking to some people and had some volunteers said that they would definitely be part of it. But before we do that, we got to create the Parks and Rec Committee. And that's what I'd like to propose for us to do that tonight.
Okay, so how many members?
7.
7? And 2 commissioner?
1 commissioner, one
One-
from the City of Smithville, and then 5 from the general public.
Okay, so 5 citizens, 1 Smithville city alderman?
Yeah, or city official. Yeah. The reason we want to team up is we think we can get more accomplished if the city and the county do this together.
Right. And then 1 county commissioner? All right, so you want to make a motion to create a 7-membered committee called the Parks and Rec Committee?
Correct.
5 citizens, 1 Smithville alderman, and 1 county commissioner?
Correct.
Who appoints these people? Is it something that I would do, or?
Probably something the mayor would do, yes.
Okay. That's appointed by the mayor, as I guess as well as their officers?
Sure.
Chairman and so? All right. You got that?
We need yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We got it on a good format now.
We got a good format now.
All right, so anybody that want to second Tony's motion?
Second that.
Seconded by Myron Rhodey. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes.
Yeah, we used to have a land resale committee, and during the budget committee meeting, the revenue and research committee, I'd like to put the land resale committee in with that.
Okay.
I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
So Jeff wants to add that
Land
the
resale.
land resale be added as a duty of the new revenue committee.
Of which committee?
The new revenue committee. It's the one that Larry created, like the 3-person committee.
Jeff, need a second.
All right. Anybody want to second that?
I will.
Seconded by Tom Chandler. Discussion.
I think it's already is it not in the Public Works? I think it's already in a committee underneath.
Is that the one that was
purposes.
in?
Let me look at it. I'd happen to grab my book when I come in.
I think that's where it normally come from. I think what they're trying to do, I mean, they can speak on the topic of the land that we have. I think they're wanting to look at old land that maybe the county's had for a while and not done anything with, so they're just trying to look for new revenue sources by selling some of the land that's the county's not using. So.
I didn't see where it was already at a committee. That's why I asked in the budget committee if we just add it to this, because we've got some land that we need to sell.
But what is in this document, under under community and economic development, is the county parks and recreation.
Yeah, we just overrode a different.
Well, I think that committee was separate from just the county. That was like a grant for a grant thing, right, Tony?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, we have our own park and rec part in our economic and community development, but they're asking for a separate, I guess more.
Specific.
Yeah, it's including cities, yeah. That's correct. Yeah, it's for a grant. It's kind of like pretty much a joint
It is. Yeah.
rec committee.
Gives us better chance to
Yeah.
receive the grants that's out there.
Yeah. So anything that was directly impacted for just county only would still go through economic community development, but their joint committee type thing would be different. Any more discussion? Yeah, Jeff
If
made a
you've
motion.
never found it in another committee
Yeah.
or something.
Right. We're in discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes.
There was another suggestion
Mhm.
from Thursday night, and that was by Larry to move the jail committee back to full commission because of considerations after next week. If the bond issue is killed, we're gonna have to come up with another plan. We're gonna have to come up with another plan if it isn't killed,
Mhm.
or a plan.
Yeah.
And
Are you wanting to put that in the form of motion? that the jail topic come back out of the Public Works Committee and back into the 14-member jail committee.
I'll second that.
All right, seconded by Myron Rhodey. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to see that committee also elect their chairman, vice chairman, and secretary like all the other committees do, and keep minutes of each keep minutes of each meeting that we have, and we meet on November 7th. It's 2 days after the election. We've got to have a plan of action.
So that's your amendment to the motion?
Yes.
I'll second that too.
Are you all right with that amendment?
Yeah, that's good. It would kind of fall, that all, to some, the first part of what he said would have come with our regular regulations, which require all that anyway.
Right.
Secretary and minutes and all that.
All right. I'm going to restate that so we're all on the same page. So Larry has offered an amendment to Tom's motion that not only does the jail discussion come out of Public Works and back into the 14-member body jail committee, but that they also meet on November 7th and that they have a chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary. Now, do they vote for those elected?
Pardon?
Does that committee
they can
vote these?
They can elect those.
Okay, so the committee will actually elect its own chairman, its own vice chairman, and its own secretary.
And I'm assuming the meeting, it's on November 7th, it'll be at 6 o'clock
6 o'clock
here or at the courthouse.
in the history room.
Subject that
Subject to the
available.
history room being available.
Yep.
But when the mayor sends out his list of meetings in November, he can have it on there and clarify where it'll be.
All right.
I would just like to remind everybody that we did this already, and it really got nowhere. We just kept backpedaling and spinning wheels for 2 years when it was all of us. That's why we put it in a smaller committee, and that lasted all of 3 months. I mean,
But we didn't take minutes.
that could be added.
She
to
said,
the-
he said, she said, we didn't have minutes.
That could be added to it now, I mean, to the smaller committee.
Any more discussion? Let's take a roll call on that.
And we're voting on the amendment.
We're voting
On the
that
amended motion.
it comes out of the Public Works Committee into the full 14-member jail committee that was before, and that they meet on the 7th of November, and that they elect a chairman, vice chairman, and secretary, and that they meet in the history room at 6 p.m. if they can. Go ahead.
It's not a standing committee, it's a special.
It's a special committee. That's correct. Once the jail is constructed, just whatever the commission ends up doing, it will dissolve and go away. It's not a standing committee. Yep.
Do vote on the amendment first.
Yes.
Tom wants to reword his
Right.
motion to include.
You were all right with the amendment, right?
I'm all right with the amendment.
All right. So we're gonna vote on the amendment, and then we're gonna vote on the, well, once it passes.
Unless he's rewording his motion to include
Meeting,
the meeting.
You reinstate your motion?
we don't really need the meeting specifically mentioned in the motion, do we?
No, we don't have to, no.
We can just decide we want to meet.
Yeah, yeah.
November the 7th.
Yes.
So
Are you all right with
I'm good with the rest.
reconstructing your motion to include the chairman, vice chairman, secretary, and all that?
Okay, I had it by that way. I had it.
All right, let's roll call it. Just
Tom Chandler,
Yes.
Tony Luna,
Yes.
Larry Green,
Yes.
Beth Pafford,
Yes.
Myron Rhodey,
Yes.
Andy Pack,
Yes.
Glenn Merriman,
Yes.
Daniel Cripps,
Yes.
Jeff Barnes,
Yes.
Sabrina Farler,
Yes.
Tony Colwell,
Yes.
Greg Matthews.
No.
11 yes.
All right, motion passes. Any other business?
Did you not have any notice?
I have them in my hand. I was waiting for other business. Does anybody else have any other business? All right. Notaries. Rachel Close, Wendy Crody, David Lawrence, Christina McMillan, Rebecca Newcomb, Tara Richardson, Tia Young.
I'll second.
Tom made a motion to accept the notaries, and Greg seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Jeff, seconded by Myron.